Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
No, let me finish.
Welcome to Let Me Finish, the weekly podcast where we discuss what the hell's going on in pop culture, current events, and everything else in between.
We are your hosts. I'm Janice.
I'm Stacy.
And I'm Jillian. Grab a glass of wine and let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let Me Finish. This is episode 21. Woohoo! Our podcast is 21 years old. She's finally able to drink. Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so I'm your host, Janice.
I'm Jillian.
I'm Stacy.
Okay, so this week, it was a kind of a long week, so we'll just jump right into how our weeks went. I know for me, my week was long. I had to be in Vegas for my job, so I was there all week, packed up, and so I wasn't at the house, but it's always nice to go to Vegas for work because you can have a little fun at the same time while you're working.
Yeah, you flew Frontier. How was that? I'm just
curious.
Curious.
So our flight got delayed. Okay, so our flight was supposed to be at 7:05 a.m. And that means that I get to Vegas at 7:59 a.m. because of the time difference. Girl, don't you know, when we got to the gate, they had all these Jamaican sign and Jamaican music. And I was like, oh, what? They must be about to take off. Girl, it said that they board at 6:45. So I said, wait, maybe they moved our gate. And then we looked at the thing. No gate was moved. And then I went to the lady. I was like, hey, this says Jamaica. Like, where's our gate? And she's like, oh, we're getting the information right now. Mind you, this is at like 6:10, right? They were supposed to start boarding at like 6:15. So then I was like, okay. And then she's like, oh, and then they make the announcement. And then when you go and look at the app, your boarding pass doesn't say the change. Just when you go for flight status, it was delayed till 3:15 p.m. that afternoon.
Hours later.
What? Hours later. Hours. I was like, what
Why?
the hell? How you go?
Did they say why?
No, there's no reason. The weather was fine. Everything was fine. I don't know why they did it, but anyway, so it ended up throwing off my whole week. The whole point of me going down there was to train, and I missed a whole day of work there. So it was a little bit of a cluster. And then the planes themselves, they're decent. I mean, they could be better, but
Is it like Spirit? I've never actually been on Spirit.
Pretty equivalent, I'd say.
What I would imagine Spirit is
Spirit
like.
might be a little better.
Really?
As far as the actual plane.
Yeah, the only reason I ask, and I did send her this video just so that way they don't screw her over and try to charge her an extra $100. But a lot of people were complaining that what the staff does at the gate was make everyone check their personal bag because they don't charge you for personal baggage. Anything, including your personal carry-on and check bags, they charge you for all of those. They charge you $100 for that.
So my company paid for it. So they paid for us a carry-on and a check. But they do have a thing where you have to like check and see how big your bag is, and it's pretty small.
Yeah. And so I guess it came out that the employees actually have a $10 bonus that they get for each customer they get at the gate. And so there are even people who clearly shows that their bags fit. They're like, well, you had to push it down or it didn't fit, clearly it fit comfortably.
Oh, luckily they didn't stop us to do that. Like I checked it myself, but they never even stopped me. So
yeah,
luckily.
I mean, if you're underpaid and you're telling me I can make, out of, let's say you have 100 passengers, if I catch 10%, I just made an extra $1,000.
Yeah, sometimes they do try to push you, and they're like, there's not enough overhead bin. You need it. I'm like, I'm not checking. There's a reason why it's my personal carry-on because I keep all like.
Yeah, I don't check bags in general because I don't like to check them and the possibility of them getting lost.
Exactly.
I like to just have everything with me.
They charge even not just checks. So the only item that you get for free is the one that fits underneath
and a personal bag. You do get both.
That's your personal.
Yeah,
You get
both.
the overhead. Your carry-on, and then a personal item.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are they charging people? See, that's the part I don't.
They don't charge for the personal item
or the carry-on.
They charge for the carry-on.
Oh, they do charge for the carry-on.
They do charge for the
For the
carry-on.
overhead?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. The
Oh, okay.
overhead. They charge for the overhead.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
they
just
charge
like,
for that.
are you freaking kidding me?
Wait, so you have to pay to have a carry-on? Oh, okay.
And that's why I'm not
So
fine.
does Spirit makes you do that too.
I've never been on Spirit.
And
Spirit makes you
so
do that too.
one time I booked mommy on a Spirit thinking, oh my God, this is so much cheaper, mom. This would be great.
No,
By the time
all
you're
the
done
fees
booking
and
Until
everything.
I added all the a la carte fees, including the seat. I'm like, wait a minute, this ticket don't come with a seat. I was just like,
Yeah.
is she gonna do stand?
Yeah.
Never. I'm floored. I've always flown
It's
in
crazy
American.
because when you price it out, it might end up being like $20-$30 less.
Yeah.
So, by the time you're done.
Instead of just, hey, this is all
Bless you.
included in the prices, people can make decisions up front and rather jerk you around. So I just thought that was interesting. But
You're
yeah.
fine. Okay, yeah. So that was how my week went. Vegas, Frontier. You know,
Yeah.
I personally would not fly Frontier again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
to know.
Well, I had a pretty good week. I felt like this week I was just really excited because I had a really big breakthrough in my workout classes, and this is the end of the spring session that I had, and I felt like the session before my instructor got sick and she didn't, it was probably like 3 months I didn't go work out. So I was really struggling at the beginning of this session. And I felt like this week she like pumped it up to another level. And before I was just like, well, I've never done this before. So I would kind of sit back and said, no, I need to push through. And I did. Now, mind you, my last class was on Thursday. My arms are still, they're still sore.
That's good.
But I felt like, oh my God, even though I feel sore, I pushed through it and I was able to do all of it. Now, a couple times I was just like, shit, girl, you taking it too far now.
That's okay.
And so I felt like I felt like
stronger.
I feel like I'm getting stronger. Before I felt like I had plateaued a little bit, but this, I'm just like, okay, and my friend that I go work out with, she goes, yeah, girl, I can tell the difference.
Yeah, sore today, strong tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm just like, okay, I think I can do this. I'm signing up for the summer session, but I'm just like, okay, I feel like it's going somewhere. I can see progress.
So with your classes, you sign up for a certain amount of classes and then you're done with the sessions and then you have to sign up again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not, every session is, so like this next summer session, they split it into 2. So I'll do both sessions over the summer. It'll be 12 weeks.
Okay. Nice. Stacy, how was your week, baby?
My week was good. School's out finally. So Thursday was the last day of school for my daughter. Okay. So we are officially on a summer vacation.
Yeah.
So I get to sleep in a little bit later because she's doing like some summer sports camps and they start pretty early in the morning. So I'll still be up early. But hey, it's better than being up at 6, 7 in the morning. So.
Oh yeah.
So we're ready to have a fun summer. And what did we do this week? We didn't do too much.
Your YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. I'm on YouTube, y'all. Like I have a YouTube channel. If y'all are interested, y'all can check it out.
We actually
I'll put the link. Just put the link in the.
We can.
Yeah, we'll put it in the bio.
You know, I honestly so. It's weird, but I've had this YouTube channel for a very long time, but I never really promote it because I'm just always like, if you find me, you find me. Because
it happens, it happens.
If it happens, it happens. Because I don't know, I'm just weird like that. Because it's so random, like sitting there, like doing videos, and half the time I'm just talking to it's just me talking to the camera. There's like nobody there.
Nobody wants to hear.
Just put it in the description, the link, and then y'all can go check me out on YouTube. But so I'm trying to do my little YouTube thing. But for me, it's fun. It's not necessarily like.
Well, the thing I want you to talk about is the fact that you have your little home video. You have your home videos on your YouTube channel, and she got like, how many?
Right now it's like 45,000 views.
There you go, 45,000 views. That's something to celebrate.
I know. So that little video just kind of blew up because I just put out, and I did it on my. I use my iPhone. I do have an actual camera, but I use my iPhone. And then like Kira was like, "Oh, I don't ever watch videos in iPhone quality." And I'm like, "Well, listen, this is what I have. I'm just gonna go ahead and upload it." Oh my God, I'm sitting there like, "Oh my God, I have 1,000 views. Oh my God, 10,000 views. Oh my God,
that's cool.
Oh my God,
you went viral."
I'm looking at her with my little iPhone quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
you can't really tell a difference on that though.
She says you can't. I don't know, but anyway, I do YouTube for fun, and I just like to share things with people. I do like just beauty, fashion, just lifestyle stuff like that. But
it was fun because we were hanging out last week after we recorded, and I got introduced to pickleball. And I was just like,
pickleball is fun.
I actually enjoyed it. Now
I sucked, but I really enjoyed it.
I tell you, that ball just moves way too fast for my eyes to keep up.
Mind you, one of the girls that we were hanging with, she's actually
a
good tennis player. And a couple times she would hit that ball. I said, wait a minute, girl. You can't be hitting it that hard at my face. Come on now.
The reason why it was hard for us, because you have to understand, they all play they play tennis.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
Ernest,
so
they're
does
good.
Ernest, her and Stacey's husband.
And yeah, he played tennis, and so did Jade.
Jade, yeah,
she plays because she plays with her
the
girls.
girls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
See?
they're like tennis players, and they will.
I know. I feel like almost embarrassed when I keep missing the ball. I'm like, I can't help it. It's
Yeah.
going too fast.
For me, it's fun, but when I like when we play, you just on your watch you can track your movement.
Yeah.
You can actually select pickleball, and you burn so many calories because for me, I'm always chasing.
You're
the
always
ball because
chasing the
I
ball?
pretty
Me
much
too.
always miss
the ball.
and
Yeah.
I'm chasing the
Yeah,
ball.
me too.
So for me, it's like this is fun, and I'm working out. So
I'll be thinking like I'm about to hit it, and then that thing just goes right past the ball.
Yeah, right
like,
past
I'm
us.
in mid pose, and like
And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to hit.
And the ball.
It's gone.
It goes by really fast, so I will have to say,
Yes.
but it's a lot of fun. And
I am determined to get it though. Like,
No, that's
yeah.
why I said I wanted to come
Yeah.
over more and practice because I want to get better.
yeah, I can't do a backhand. Like I'll hit it backhand, but it will be way too low. I have to figure out how to do the backhand and get it over the net.
I just need to figure out how to hit the ball. Like I need to figure that out first.
Yeah.
Backhand, please. I can barely hit it front hand.
Pickleball is fun though. We have a blast.
yeah,
so.
a lot of
It was fun. I enjoyed it. So,
Yeah.
So I don't really have any chokeholds myself.
Oh,
but
I do.
I know. Okay. All right, Stacey, what's your chokehold?
Okay, and I'm going to keep it really brief because this is something that requires like a bigger conversation.
Yes.
But I watched Derek Jackson, if y'all don't know who he is, he was the guy that was doing all those videos in his car on YouTube telling women how,
which I never trust men who do that.
yeah, he's basically telling women, basically how
Reminds me of that
how a
Samuel
man
girl
is supposed
guy.
to him, yes.
Yeah,
but
he
Samuel-
reminds me they're like the same.
He passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But he kind of
happens.
reminds me a little bit like him, but he was basically but he actually gave good advice, but he's like the biggest hypocrite because all the things that he's telling women that they should not accept from men, like he's literally doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And he got called out for cheating with all these women and stuff like that, and he was actually married. And so the wife he filed for divorce because he told her he wanted to divorce her.
Mm-hmm.
So she did a podcast. It's like this is the first time we're actually hearing her side because we've actually heard from some of the women that he was cheating with because Tasha K had interviewed them.
Okay.
So this is the first time she's talking and she did a podcast. It's on YouTube. Y'all have to go watch it so we can discuss it.
I want to, yeah,
She
yeah.
basically was saying that he has been cheating on her since they got together. They've been together since 19. They met in college. And she
So
said that
sad.
when they were in therapy, there's this thing called ground zero where it's to call the discovery phase where he basically has to tell everything that he's done. And she said on the list, it was like 100 women.
Oh God.
Yeah. So,
And she didn't leave?
that was the
Well,
discovery.
that was the point of the therapy.
But she said that she knew what was crazy, like the way her mind works. She has a lot of trauma. She said that she knew she was cheating because she had found videos on his phone, and she said that she would study the women's bodies.
Yes.
And
I did
that
see that clip.
she studied their bodies, and she tried to mimic. She would go to their
Mimic
social
things that they would do
She would go to their
sexually and
Instagram
things.
page and stuff, right? And she would see how they dress, how they did their hair. She said that she knew their bodies more than her own. Now he didn't know that she had. Because he would keep stuff on his phone because
That was just her desperation to hold on to the relationship.
stuff, and then she started watching the videos obsessively, and she said that, and she never told him, like that she knew that he was cheating. And
That's what I'm
stuff.
saying.
She,
It was like she wanted to hold on to the relationship.
But you have to listen to it. It's so deep, like the trauma that y'all listen to it, and we can talk about it later.
That's what I'm
This
saying.
is
For
too
you
much
to
for
say-
us to dig into right now. But
for her to say the words, which is the clip I watched, I knew those women's bodies better than I knew my own. How many times did you watch those videos?
Multiple
That would
times.
be like sickening for me. Like it would make me want to just like vomit.
But she was
Because
not
she-
only think you are with other women, but see it.
yes.
Oh my God!
But
I
you know
couldn't
where
handle
that's
it.
coming from? She's coming from the point where she's thinking, I'm not good enough. There's something
That's
wrong
exactly
with me.
what it Right, is.
I
I
have
have
to fix
to-
something. She's putting the blame on
herself.
herself
Right.
instead of
So
her
she was
husband.
trying to even
Right.
mimic those sexual positions and stuff.
She said I would do the things they would do sexually in the videos to see if I could satisfy him. Type
Right.
thing.
And
Yep.
of course, she never could because the problem's not
It's
her.
not her.
But
Yeah. So
it goes deeper. It's so deep. She was so honest. I've never heard someone. And when she said those things, I know plenty of women have tried to be like the person that the husband cheated with or just whatever. Like it's a thing. Women go through these phases, but for her to come out and say it, I was just like blown away.
Yeah, I still have to watch the interview.
Yes,
but
you have to.
Yeah, I feel like, because like I said, when the video she did, whenever it broke that he was cheating and pretty much he's a hypocrite.
The bonnet.
The hostage video.
She spoke on that too.
The hostage video is what I call it.
Yeah.
But and then just to see her on the podcast to kind of, and I've seen this in real life, that glow up.
She looks
when you
totally
drop.
different.
Remember, Janice?
Drop that baggage, baby.
There's this person that we knew, we're not going to say any names, that when she got a divorce.
Do I know them?
No.
Oh.
No. When she got a divorce, the glow up, and it's because that man was dead weight. And it was
in her life.
Okay, tell me when we go on break.
Yeah,
we will. But the glow up, like one time she came over her house, and I'm like, I didn't recognize her.
I have to know who this is. Let's hurry up and take a break so y'all can tell me.
Okay, so we're gonna take a break because when we come back, we're actually going to we're gonna have our first guest. His name is Jared Miller. He's one of my coworkers, and he had a lot to say about one of our episodes, and he needs to get his male perspective on this because we're missing the male perspective. So I'm gonna come back. We're gonna come back, and we're gonna have him on to share a little bit on some of the topics that we have talked about. So we will be back. Okay, we're back, and we are here with our first guest ever on Let Me Finish, which is, his name is Jared Miller. He's one of my coworkers, but he has a lot of other stuff that he does and has going on his Instagram. It's Body by Buck on Instagram. But this is Jared Miller. Say hi, Jared.
What's up, y'all? How's the community doing? I hope everyone's doing good, having a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. Many blessings.
Yes. Do you have any pages you want to shout out right now?
Oh, no, just Body by Buck.
Body by Buck. So BODYBYBUCK. Body by Buck.
Can't be duplicated, can't be replicated. Real, raw, and uncut, authentic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the reason, so just a long story short, guys. So all this started because, like I said, he's one of my coworkers. He lives in Vegas. I live in Texas. So he actually came down here to Texas, and I was taking them into work. And during that conversation, it came up. His question was, how is your significant other? My answer was immediately, he's good, right? And that started a whole can of worms from there. And Jared and his definition of what gender, like what defines a significant other. And because later that night he was like, let's go, like we were talking about going to have drinks after work, coworkers, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, are you going to tell your boyfriend? And I said, well, I don't have to check in with anybody. And that was where it all started. Jared, if you can expand, sir.
Okay, so one thing women are beautiful creatures. They're emotional creatures. And at the end of the day, what they think is wrong is right, and what we think is wrong is wrong. And that's something that I do, that's something you have to accept. And one thing I do want to say, not against women, but with men, you got to have a high self-esteem. You got to have your stuff together. You got to be confident. Any man that is not in that category cannot relate to this conversation. If you're living off your girl, or if you need a woman, you are excluded from this conversation. Sorry, I'm not hating, but you are excluded from this conversation. That just shows you I'm not being biased.
Right.
This is for the men that were brought up right, take care of their stuff, and know how to treat a woman. So, where I come from, if you say the word significant other,
Right.
that means someone that you are exclusive with, someone that you make time for, someone that you have a relationship with where honesty, trust, respect, you guys communicate. So I had made a gesture when we went to go get drinks, and I said, hey, are you going to go let your man know? And Janice said, I ain't got to tell him. And I said, okay, well, let's put the brakes on it. Let's flip the script. Now, I take care of myself. I work out. I'm very confident. Now, let's just say your man was to do what you did and didn't communicate with you, and your significant other didn't communicate with you, and you were to find out after the fact, or he were to let you know after the fact, you would feel some sort of way. It might not cause an argument. It might not cause friction. It might not cause a breakup. It might cause all three of those. But you can't sit here and tell me you would have felt some sort of way. So it's in the aspect of this. If we're talking and then you see me out and about hanging out with a female, and you walk up to me like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, we just went to the movies last night. I'm gonna look at you like, well, we're just talking, you know.
Okay.
But me, I'm a different breed. If we're just talking, I see you out and about with a guy, I'm gonna, you know, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna make moves. I might shoot you a text, this and that.
You would immediately run up and start yelling.
No, that's what's the different categories.
Yeah, he said if y'all were just talking, then that's different. He wouldn't just run up on you like that. He would just text you.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Now,
Okay, if we're just talking.
Yeah.
when you say, in my book, in a man's book, significant other, that means you have been categorized as someone that is someone you communicate with, someone that you're open with, someone you honest trust.
So your girlfriend?
Yes.
Correct. So, okay. So like I said, so I think for me, the difference in that conversation was I wasn't looking at significant other as my boyfriend. Because even if I have dealings with somebody, that's somebody like could be considered a significant other. Because I still want to claim them in a sense, but they're not my boyfriend.
So for me, a significant other is almost saying that's my significant other. Like that person is mine, belongs to me,
Belongs, yeah.
right? So that would be like someone that you're committed to, like a boyfriend, a fiance, husband, or whatever. If it's just someone that you're just dealing with, then that to me is not necessarily a significant other. It's just like, you know, just someone you talking to or you cool
Right.
with or whatever y'all be doing.
So I think that was the difference for me, Jared, is when we were talking about it, making sure you understand. Like, that's why when you asked me, I was like, well, I don't have to check in, because if that's not my boyfriend, if that's not somebody I'm exclusive with, then why would I need to tell you what I'm doing?
If that's not your boyfriend, then that's not your significant other.
Right.
I think
And
that's a miscommunication.
That's where that's where we said that's where the miscommunication.
And I just looked up the word significant other. A person who is important to one's well-being, especially a spouse or one in a similar relationship.
Right. That's what
Similar.
That's a significant other is like yours. It's like that person almost belongs to you. Like that's my man, my man, my man.
My man, my man, my man. And don't get me wrong, because I do want to know when my man is out with ladies.
Yeah. So I feel like when you say somebody's your significant other, y'all are in an exclusive relation, either your boyfriend and girlfriend, that's your fiance, or you're married.
Right.
Those are the categories that significant under falls under.
Right.
It's not talking, it ain't flirting, it ain't
hooking up.
That's not a significant other. Y'all are in a committed, exclusive relationship.
Well, then in that sense, Jared is right.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Because it is a double standard, because I would want to know if my significant other was out at a bar with women from work. Yeah. Especially women that look like me. Go ahead, Jared.
There's another level to it, too. And I hate to be, I don't want to sound shallow. But let's just make up someone. Let's just say you're dealing with, I don't know, I'm making up a name, Vanessa in HR. She's not attractive.
Attractiveness is relative.
No, but hear me out. She's not attractive. She's got 20 kids. She's dealing with her own personal problems. You know, someone that you would never ever be inferior to. You know, that's not a problem. It's kind of like your significant other says, "Hey, I'm going to go with Malik." He ain't tripping. He knows Malik's married, got kids, this and that. Hey, I'm going to go with Buck and Terrence to the bar. Well, hold up.
Well, just so you know, though, people usually cheat down.
I was gonna say that because men don't care
they
cheat with.
If you actually look at it, statistics, people usually cheat down. They don't usually cheat with somebody better or better looking, their significant other, better body, better job. It's usually down.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and say that. I'll go ahead and say that. I was just saying the aspect. It definitely makes things more complicated. It's one thing if you're like, oh, you know, I went to have drinks with so-and-so. Oh, I ain't worried about her. Oh, I went to go have drinks with someone.
I'm worried about everybody, baby.
Thank you.
I'm worried about everybody.
It's always the one that you're not worried about. That's usually the one that you should be worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
They're probably going to give a little bit more out there, too. Because they have to.
Plus, also, we have to understand that when there's cheating, sometimes it's not a physical cheating. Sometimes it's emotional cheating, where you are confiding in someone personal things that you should be talking to your significant other about. emotional cheating is a thing too. So sometimes it's not about physical attraction or about sex. Sometimes it's an on emotional level, which I think is worse.
Yeah, I tend to think that
Exactly.
emotional could be worse. Yeah,
Right.
because is a deeper. It's more than just sex. It's something deeper.
Well, and then there was a show I was watching, and then the guy who cheated, he straight up said it could have been a hole in the wall.
Yeah,
would've fucked it.
most men think that way.
So that's what I'm saying. So, and of course she was like, well, why would you do this? Why would you do this? And he's like, it could have been a hole in the wall at the time. I hated myself. I hated my life. I didn't think I was good enough for you. And for him, he said that's the one way he knew how to get out of a relationship was to cheat, sadly. What do you think about that, Jared?
That'll do it.
Well, you know what? I will. My comment to that is, and what I was saying before is, it just makes things worse when the person is more attractive than your significant other. That makes things even worse. But going back to what you were saying, you know what? From a man's perspective, which I will say, because you also know Chippendales, I dance as well.
Right.
It goes both ways. I've seen some crazy things do bachelor parties. I mean, like, girl, you got that ring on. Your man paid for this. You really out here doing the most. Well, we're not married yet. I will never let my girl.
And I do think, don't they say statistically wise, like 70% of women are the ones that initiate divorce?
Okay, all right. You're right. We did look that up. You're absolutely right on that. But one thing I will say about men, majority of men that cheat, coming from a man's mouth. Not saying that we don't, not saying what we do is right, but majority of men that cheat is because of a few factors, not a lot. It's either from the beginning of the relationship, things have dwindled down, whether it's intimacy, whether it's taking care of themselves, whether it's lack of factors in the relationship. It's very few men that will cheat that have a beautiful girl. Men cheat. I will say that 120%. But 1 out of 4 men will cheat when they got a beautiful woman. She's a good woman. She holds things down. She makes you a better person. And you have a bright future. That is very, very few percentage.
Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. What you talking about? Listen, Halle Berry been cheated on. All the beautiful, that
I don't
means
think
nothing. You can have the best woman, and the man will cheat.
Look at what Jay-Z's got to deal with, though. He got to deal with Beyonce's sister beating him up in the elevator, too.
Because he cheated.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. I wanted to jump in real quick. When a lot of times women be like, "Oh, you let yourself go." A lot of times the reason why women let themselves go is because they have been worn down. When you're going out and you are working your 40 hours a week at a job, you are the main person taking care of the children, the house, the cooking, the cleaning, everything. After a while, that stuff, as far as getting your hair done and all that other stuff falls to the wayside and you put yourself last. That's why we let ourselves go, is because the pressure of not only working outside but also taking care of the home, it becomes too much. We have too much on our plate, and I really do feel like some men feel like all they have to do is go make the money and then come home, and then that's it. That's the end of their responsibility, and we got to pick up the slack, and then in turn we let ourselves go, and then that now you feel like you have now the green light to go cheat. I don't think that's fair.
Okay, agreed, but let's take that out of the picture now. Let's just say when you start dating someone prior to being exclusive, the intimacy is great. Okay, now you're at home holding things down. I'm at work doing 40 hours a week, and I come home, want a little bit of loving, but you're too tired. Well, guess what? I'm tired too. But at the end of the day, a woman has needs and a man has needs. And at the end of the day, when those needs are not fulfilled, a man will go other places to get those needs.
Okay.
And I hate to say
No, you're right. No, you are right. But I think that's where communication comes into play in a relationship, especially in a marriage, because there are going to be times where sometimes your spouse doesn't fill up your cup fully that day. So you got to communicate about what you need. So now, do I think it's, and to Jillian's point, I do think that there is a time where the woman's worn down and they let themselves, quote unquote, let themselves go. However, I don't think it's a good idea to let yourself go as a woman, because I don't want my man to let himself go. I'm not okay with you looking like a piece of shit.
I'm not going to let myself go. I'm sorry. I'm too important to my own self to let myself go.
Right, because she's tired. But she needs to communicate to him, hey, this is why I can't find time to go work out. This is why I can't find to go get my hair done. I need you to take on some of the slack as well, so I don't let myself go. Because I don't want to let myself go, because if I leave your ass...
right,
exactly.
I do feel like
always be ready.
And like I said, we were discussing before the break, I said a lot of times the extra burden why we're too tired is because not only are we taking care of the house, we're also taking care of our husbands who are grown adult men. And it's like having another child there where we're having to constantly do everything for them outside of what they do at work.
And that's a problem in the relationship if you have to treat a grown man like a child.
Right.
Exactly. And so a lot of times we see with women when they say, well, they have their glow up and they're like, well, why didn't you do that whenever we were together? I was like, yeah, because I didn't have time to take care of myself, or I had to put myself last because everything else had to be taken care of first.
Some women actually do let themselves go because they get comfortable in a relationship and they just become just like, but I personally, as a woman, I feel like I make it a priority to like take care of myself. I'm big on how I, just my body, how I look, make my hair. Like, I have off days. I'm not,
right.
But it's very important to me that I keep myself looking good for my husband. That's like, I'm big on that.
I would say to Jared's point, yes, if a woman lets herself go and there's a reason why she lets herself go, then that's a problem in the marriage as well, because neither party should let themselves go.
Neither party.
Because
and another thing, you guys just say communication. So let's keep it 100. Communication for women is, I'm tired. Okay, so we roll over. And go to sleep. We understand that. We know that. But sometimes men need justification and, they need confirmation. Sitting down and say, hey, babe, listen, I'm really into you. The spark is still there. I just need some help. I just need some, maybe a nanny. Maybe you don't work as much. Don't act like y'all want to do that, because y'all don't. Communication is a factor on both sexes.
Yeah.
But
we have poor communication skills. But our communication, you got to remember, we're men. We're not women. Women are highly intelligent, emotional creatures.
No, I don't accept that. Because at the end of the day, when I said I have to spell it out for you, so when I say I'm tired, I just wonder why men can't just see, hey, she's tired because she's having to do all the housework, all the cooking. How can look at the situation and be like, okay, how can I alleviate? Because then she's doing more mental work, because he's like, okay, I need you to do this and this and this to help. And sometimes I just want somebody to show up and be like, babe, I got you. Sit down right now. I'll cook dinner.
Yes, but
I'll grab the kids. He's not a mind reader. Every other day, let's split. No. When I say I'm tired, sometimes you can just look at people and be like, damn, like, girl, are you okay? Because we can see that in each other. I think with women, sometimes we see that in each other and be like, damn, okay, girl, what's going on?
Okay.
I feel like, you something's off about you. What's going on? And we can communicate with each other. And sometimes I wish men would do that too.
So, okay, Jared, go ahead.
So let me give you an example. Tom Brady and Gazelle. They had maids, they had nannies. She makes more money than him. He makes great money. Their life is beautiful. But you know why she did what she did and they had a separation? Because
he was never there.
Exactly. So taking y'all's side, the communication was obviously there where he should have retired after the Super Bowl. He decided to go back. And that was the last straw.
Exactly.
So she went ahead and had a relationship with her trainer. Now, that's not someone she's going to be with. That was just to prove a point, saying, listen, things are all roses, violets are blue, roses are red. But at the end of the day, we are lacking the one thing, and that is time with each other and communication and just intimacy. So with that being said, and I hate to disagree with your sister, Miss Houston, I really do, but we just like y'all got enough things. It's kind of like this. You want us to explain ourselves versus a single term. You guys need to explain yourselves too. It's communication, because I'm not the smartest crayon in the box, but I'm not the dumbest crayon in the box. But if every day that you say I'm tired, and I'm over here like, well, dang, you drive a nice car, we live in a nice house, we got a maid, kids go to private school. I understand you're tired. We got you a trainer, got you a nanny, and you're just still tired. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to deal with that. But you still need to communicate what you want to do, because we can't read y'all's mind. What
No,
else do I need to
no.
do?
What you're saying there is if she has a maid and a nanny and all that stuff, she ain't tired. She just wants time with you now. That's totally different. We're talking about, and I'm not talking about like the uber rich where they can have, staff that can help with all of that. I'm talking about just regular middle class couple just trying to make it work every single day. Whether most of the time nowadays, just the way income is, we have to be a double income household to be able to survive. Sometimes we've talked about this on the podcast, where we feel like when it comes to women, we want partners where we're splitting everything 50-50, whether we both go out to work, and then when we come home, everything that's done inside the house is 50-50.
Yes,
so we can be there for each other.
That should be communicated, and that does not mean they have to read your mind. So if you say you're tired, they should not be able to add into, oh, well, she means she's tired of this, this, and this. So now if I do this, this, and this, she'll be less tired, because you just said, I wish that he would just understand. But you have to speak. You have to use your words.
So
this is what this podcast is about. How women and men think. We don't know how women think, and women don't know how men think. This is what this podcast is about.
Right.
If you're tired just based off your daily actions, well, guess what? I'm tired too. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm still showing an effort of trying to be somewhat intimate or somewhat playing a talking about valid in this relationship. So what I'm saying is, women, the way men and women communicate are totally two different things, and the way we perceive things are two different things. Communication is definitely the foundation of any relationship.
Absolutely. So I do agree with you, and I think a lot of us, we do agree with some parts of that. But really quick, we need to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back, and then we have more with Jared. Okay, we are back with our guest, Jared. And we were talking about basically just double standards of like, what male role versus female role in the house and communication and that kind of thing. But Jillian actually had a pretty interesting question that I think would be a good one for Jared.
Okay, I was just wondering, when it comes to men and women being friends, do men... how can I gonna word this? Okay, are men friends with women with the idea of like, okay, if I stick around long enough, we could be more.
We can hook up.
Okay, so men cannot have female friends when they're in a relationship. That is just point.
Not even in a relationship though, Jared. Just like friendship for men and women, can it be strictly platonic?
And no expectation of anything else.
Absolutely can. Also, that's why I said at the beginning of this conversation, I'm very, you got to be very confident. You got to have high self-esteem. It's kind of like walking in a room wondering what people think about you, and then you walk in a room and wonder if you like those people. It's kind of like, scenario, girlfriend, hey babe, I'm gonna go out with my coworkers, this and that. Cool. They could be a couple of good-looking guys, whatever. That's cool. I have no. You invited me. You let me know. That's cool. I just have no interest in going out. Let me know if you need anything, this and that. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they cross that line of disrespecting me when I'm not around, then we got a problem. That is someone that, and a lot of men aren't like that, ladies. I'm going to be very honest with you. A lot of men are not like that. They are very insecure. Like, oh, who you with? Like, I really don't care. I don't care, whatever, because I know at the end of the day, you coming home to me, and I know what I bring to the table. Now, there's some men that can't even that got to have a leash on their girl because they're so insecure. Those are men that have personal problems with their own insecurities, and they will never have a successful relationship. But tying back to what you asked was, can you have a friendship with a woman that just strictly friends? Absolutely. It's never intended to be, the relationship is a relationship. If I have a female friend that is a friend, I never look at it like, what are the possibilities? I look at that person as a human being. But that ties back into what I was saying is I'm a different breed as well. You know, a lot of men, you know, every female they see as a friend, they look at that as a potential opportunity. No, I look at, you know, I'm at a different chapter. I've been divorced. I've done, you know, I've accomplished a lot of things in my life. So me to go through what I've been through on both sides of the fence and see from both angles is that, you know, can I have a female that's a friend that I don't see anything else but that? Absolutely. But there's also boundaries. It's kind of like my boy yesterday. His girl hit me up and she was like, hey, Buck, we're about to move. Can you grab the package for me and ship it to where we're moving, this and that? And I was like, all right, well, no, not a problem. I'll ship it to where you guys are moving. Let your man know. I said, what's up? Give him a hug for me. She goes, I will. I just told him.
That was your level of respect.
That's level of respect. And also there's another guy that said something. If you're my boy, I will never, if my boy's girl, I will never ever look at them like a girl. I will never even talk to them, reach out to them, or this and that. If you're my boy, if you're my boy's girl, you're my boy. And that's the way things are. But unfortunately, agreeing with the third party that just said that, a lot of men do see having a female friend as a potential opportunity to go further. I'm different. You know, if I have a female that's a friend, she's, you know, that's a friend.
From your perspective, right.
From my perspective. But a lot of men, I will say, not being, you know, being 100, guys. I know y'all don't want to hear this. You probably think I'm crazy, but I'm being 100%. A lot of y'all think like, oh, that's my homegirl. But on the down low, you over here like, you know, let's see where this can go. Okay.
Yeah. So in my perspective from that, which I'll let Stacey, I think Stacey had something to say on it too.
Yeah, what I was going to say is like, yes, men and women can have friendships, right? But I think like okay, I'm a girl, right? And I'm single and I have a really good guy friend. We're real close. We kick it all the time. He's single. I'm single. We hang out, but we're just truly just friends. Mm-hmm. Now I get into a serious relationship. I in turn get married and stuff. Mm-hmm. I personally feel like that relationship that I had with my good guy friend, yes, we was cool and we was friends. That has to change now because I have a husband and I personally don't think it's okay for me to still go off and hang out with him and kick it like that now that I'm married by ourselves.
What if you make it so, because personally, I'm one of those girls, right? I have a lot of guy friends, and I'm sure when I get married, everything's gonna have to change. But what if I bring in that friend, so they can know my husband or my significant other?
That's fine, and that's great and all.
And I want them to become friends personally. That would make my life easier.
I mean, that's fine. If my husband had a girl that he was cool with and they were friends with, and all, that's great and all. But now that we're married, I don't. And yes, you might.
Even if you like her,
you might introduce me to that friend and be like, "We just tied, we cool." You know what? That's fine and everything. And me and her might be cool too, but I still don't think it's okay for y'all. She's single. I still don't think she don't have a man. I still don't think it's okay for y'all to be going out on your own, hanging out and kicking it.
Because you gotta really think about it. Maybe if she was married and we were all single, married, or with a significant other doesn't stop people from cheating.
It doesn't, but I personally think that was your BFF, whatever. Now that we're married, I'm your BFF.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to hang out with her, we can all go hang out with her or whatever. But I still don't think that those little things that y'all used to do, like
absolutely
going out, having drinks, the two of y'all, I don't think that's okay. That's not okay with me. And I personally, it's not okay for my husband to do it. So me as a woman, I wouldn't have a guy friend like that. I personally don't have guy friends. And any guy friend I've ever had, I can tell you, they probably always wanted to get with me at some point. So I don't have guy friends.
I would say 90% of my guy friends have tried it at some point.
I don't have guy friends like that.
I'm that 10%. I'm that 10%.
Thanks, Jared. You're a good one.
So to comment on that, you know, I definitely agree. And one thing is I say, like, listen, when you're in a relationship, guys, I'm one of the most realist guys you'll ever meet. There is no such thing as having females that are friends. There is just no such thing as that. When you are in a relationship, all your friends will die.
Okay.
Yeah, all your friends will die.
Oh my God. So you're saying if you get in a relationship or I get in a relationship, our friendship is dead. We should never speak ever again.
No, I didn't say that for women. I said it's different with men and women. Women can have guys that are friends, and that's something we have to accept.
Double standard, yeah.
I kind of like one thing I told you at the beginning. If the sky is blue and she says it's purple, it's purple. It's light purple, it's dark purple, it's violet, it's fuchsia, whatever you want to call it. Those are just things you have to accept.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, but that's just how it is, because the things that you guys do, we don't trip about, and then if we were to pull the stunts that y'all do, all hell breaks loose.
I
And those
feel
are facts.
I feel as a woman
Those are
though, if I don't want my husband having female friends as a woman, because I know how it feels or what it can, like, I personally, that's why I don't have guy friends like that. I don't go kick it with guys and have drinks with guys because I don't want him kicking it with females. I out of respect for each other.
I think what Jared's saying though is for him, he would just accept the double standard more so.
But you shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Well, I look at the high road, and one thing is, like I said, one thing about women, like I said, women should be archaeologists because they love digging stuff up. You know, they'll remember something from 2 years, 5 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, 6 hours, 17 minutes, and 36 seconds ago. So at the end of the day, this is what, as a man, you have to accept this. And I'm not speaking for women. You cannot have female friends.
Hell has no fury like a woman scorned.
It does not mean a woman can have a GQ guy friend that she just key with all the time. No. I didn't say that at all.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is, if you have if your supervisor is GQ, takes care of himself, whatever, and he's respectful of the man, I'm not going to sit here and say, no, you know, your supervisor wants to go have a couple drinks, cool. As long as he knows who I am and this and that, he doesn't cross that line or disrespect you. You have my back when I'm not around, I'm cool with it. Now,
so you trust her.
And now I go to have drinks with a supervisor that looks like Kim K. I don't care what y'all say. That is not going down. It is not happening.
It's not happening. But I'm trying to figure out, why are you going to have drinks just the two of y'all alone with your supervisor? For what?
Well, maybe they're not alone. Maybe you're not alone.
If it's a group environment, that's different. But just individually to go have a drink with your supervisor, just the two of y'all, that's not okay for me. Like, why?
Well,
talk about it at work.
Maybe a work lunch, this and that. We're splitting hairs here. I'm just trying to get the ballpark picture.
I get it. I think what Jared's saying is there's the double standard with men and women, and there's double standards with men and women on a lot of things.
A lot of things, yes. But
so, and I like I said, I was the person on the podcast talking about, yeah, no, it's my man, and I don't want him kicking with no woman that I don't really know. But at the same time, I need you to accept that I have guy friends.
And
I hate it.
That's not okay.
How it is.
It's not okay.
I'm trustworthy. You can trust me.
Yeah.
Well, and here's where this conversation evolved. I was joking with Janice, and I was like, so you're going to let your man know that you went out to have a couple drinks with Terrence and Jared? She was like, I ain't got to tell him nothing. I was like, whoa, did you just say that was your significant other?
I was kidding.
Well, this and that. But see, but, you know, labels and terms. It's kind of like, if I tell that to my significant other, oh, I was just kidding. No, that is imprinted in her mind. With kidding, this and that, it doesn't matter. Women will be women. You know, at the end of the day, like one thing my dad always told me, he's got veneers, and he's like, you know, son, I've got veneers because I was grinding my teeth with your mother. You know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. To have a successful relationship, you have to deal with things that are unorthodox in a man's perspective of a mind. Let me tell you something. There's, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Every successful relationship that I've spoken to couples about, the guy always says, not saying they agree and just let it go, but there's things that if they would have done vice versa, it would not be okay. Now, I'm not saying going out there or hanging out long nights or this, none of that. But what I'm saying is this. It's kind of like, for example, scenario. She said she was going to dinner, and I'm expecting a phone call, or she's going to pop up at the house after dinner. I happen to wake up in the middle of the night and text her, like, oh, how's dinner? Oh, babe, we ended up at the club. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. Just, let me know. Now, let's reverse the roles. If I tell
that
you
would not happen. That's not okay.
I tell you I'm going to dinner with the boys, and then you expect a phone call or me to pop up at the house later on, and you call me and like, babe, I'm at the club with the boys. We decided to go pop a bottle. Man, there's nothing.
You're right. You'd have a problem.
That is not go down.
We would have a problem for sure. We would.
Absolutely. So that is something a man.
But I also would not do that to treat others the way you want them to treat you. So I wouldn't do that to somebody. If I had plans to go kick it with my man, like, just for example, even like when we were talking that night and I was like, I don't have to check in with anybody. I also was home by like 9:00. I mean, it wasn't like I was out late. I mean, y'all left and went and did other stuff. I was like, I'm going home. right? Because
But
I don't
what
need to be
would he
kicking
know?
it out
What
late
would
at
he-
night, getting
what
drunker
would
and
he-
drunker with people that he doesn't know.
Exactly. How would he feel if he saw a picture of Buck and Terrence and you were having drinks?
I mean, and I think for you personally, you put like looks above a lot of things. That's not
No, it's not
everybody's,
about-
because not everybody's threatened by looks either. You know what I'm saying? So you might be threatened more so by the successful man, the millionaire.
No,
Even
what
though he
I'm
don't
saying
maybe
is-
not look the same way, he might be like, "You're gonna go kick it with your millionaire boss." No.
No, what I said is Buck and Terrence. I had nothing to do with demographics.
But
What
I'm saying
You-
my significant other is not threatened by looks. Maybe that's not his
Okay.
that's not
So-
something that he cares about. Maybe he
what-
thinks
what-
about
what I'm
status more so than looks.
What I'm saying is this: you were kicking with two other male individuals that he has no knowledge of, no history of, two people you've never spoken about, two people that do not work in that environment, that are based somewhere else, that are in town, this and that. So at the end of the day, you guys don't think it's a big deal. But if the roles were reversed, and a man, this is what women's got to understand is this, and we will never win. If the roles were reversed, and I did the exact same thing as you did, Janice, and my significant other, and I didn't let her, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna go have some drinks with Malone and Janice, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She knows Malone. She knows Janice. Cool. Ha. Then all of a sudden she's like, oh, so you were with Brianna and Rachel and Samantha? Who are they? Now, not saying it's a big
Exactly
deal.
what would happen.
It's a conversation. It's definitely something that can strike confrontation, but it's like, oh, well, I never heard of them. You never brought those people to my attention. You know, you're quick to tell me that you're going to go have drinks with these people, but I didn't know these people. I didn't know they were in town. I didn't know this and that. Da, da, da. What I'm saying is it's not a big deal. This is about how men think and how women think. What we think is okay is what you guys take to the ceiling. And one thing I will say,
Take to the ceiling.
what I think is okay, you guys, like, for example, I don't think it's a big deal, Janice. I honestly don't. Now that I know it's not your significant other, you ain't got to report to him at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is your significant other, you know, and at the end of the day, the less you say, the better off it is. It's not like you were doing anything wrong because you weren't. But what I'm saying is this, is if it were to be evolved, if it were to be disclosed,
Yeah.
then you have a situation, you have a conversation like, okay, it's not a big deal. I didn't know they were in town. I didn't know you were picking them up. I didn't know you were doing all this and that. That's
Right.
part
And
of
if
your
that
job.
was my man, I probably would have gone into more detail with him.
Correct. That's all I'm saying. Ladies, I agree with y'all. You know, if anything, I harp on men. I harp on men so much to say, hey, listen, man, this is what's going to happen. It's kind of like when I bought a couch. I live by myself. My dad said, I don't care how good the couch looks. I don't care how expensive it is. You need to lay on the couch. And I'm like, Dad, like, you sit on the couch. He goes, I don't care. You lay on it. And I go, okay, why? He goes, because you don't have to be sleeping on that couch.
Never
for a few
know.
nights."
Never know.
You know, that's what men have to understand is women. And here's the thing is, we'll always, like, we come crawling back too. Because, you know, women, like, believe it or not, you know, women are very powerful creatures. You know, they definitely,
Oh, I
they
believe it, honey.
run, they run more than what people think they do. Women are very powerful creatures. So at the end of the day, they have something that makes this universe go round. So what I tell men is this. I said, listen, dating a woman, you have to cut off all your female friends. And they have to have to be respectful with any guy friends. And also, you have to be communication with everything. Now, you might think and sit here and say, well, she's not this and that. Well, okay, guess what? And I'll tell my boy, well, did she do anything wrong? No, she didn't. Okay, well, listen, it is what it is. You know, and I'm not saying, you guys might say that's not right, but at the end of the day, we're talking about having a successful relationship. There are things that women do that are justified, and if we did the same thing, we would be looked at like we robbed a bank.
Okay. All right. Fair, Jared. Okay. So at the end of the day, I think we can agree there's a double standard with women versus men. And yes, I think labels and significant others and words like that do really change things. Absolutely. So that is just a little bit on the male perspective from Jared Miller. Thank you again for being on the cast and for giving us the side of things. So we are going to have to wrap up here, but I wanted to, do you have any shout outs or anything you want to do, Jared?
No, I just want to say thank you to you ladies. You know, I appreciate the opportunity. And again, you know, love y'all, much respect,
Absolutely.
mad love to women. And, you know, I definitely agree with everything you guys have to say. And thank you again for having me on here. And it was very appreciative. But thank you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, happy, and safe Memorial Day weekend.
Don't forget Body
You
by
too.
Buck.
Yes.
Body by Buck. Body
Instagram.
by Buck.
Okay.
Buck.
Do you guys have any closing comments, Jillian and Stacey?
No, I just want to say that it's always good to have a male perspective, because sometimes, when it comes to gender, I think we get in our own minds and sometimes don't see things from other perspective. Jared definitely opened my eyes from other aspects. So yeah, I like this, and we're going to continue to have guests. So
This is our first little test run, and I think it worked well.
Thank you, Jared.
Hey, thank you, ladies. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You guys are gems. And I like my little three amigos over there. And, I think it was cool. And like I said, man, like I try to tell guys, I said, listen, man, if you want to have a relationship, there's just certain things you're going to have to deal with and pucker up. But if, it's an open field. Do as you please. And this doesn't go to all men. This goes to men that are well established, that take care of themselves, that hold stuff down. And these are things that you're just going to have to deal with. There's no such thing as a successful relationship. There's always going to be arguments. There's always going to be
that's normal.
Disagreements and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm going to end it with this. If the sky is blue, she says it's purple, it's purple.
It's purple. There you go. All right, guys. Well, we are going to get out of here. We'll have links for Jared's pages on our cast or on our page. And then we also are going to link Stacey's YouTube page. So go check it out.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for listening today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the platform you're listening on, and leave us a review.
We want to support local businesses. So if you'd like us to shout out your business, or if you have a topic suggestion, or even questions for our QA section, we want to hear from you. So reach out to us at letmefinish@gmail.com.
You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Let Me Finish. Don't forget that the E in me is the number 3. You can find me at New Jillian Who Dis on Instagram. Stacey, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Mrs. Kams01. I'm also on TikTok, Mrs. Kams01. MRSKAMS01.
And Janice, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Uniquely Janice, and Facebook and TikTok, I'm just Janice Housen.
Okay. See you next week.
See you next week.
See you guys then.